It's not a mystery to me. The same thing that happened to my daughter is what happened to Whitney. There's only one person that was around both occasions.
You won't say his name. Nick Gordon is who you're referring to.
I won't say his name.
Nick Gordon, if that's who you're referring to, I won't mention his name. Whitney Houston and Bobbi Brown's daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown, has been gone for a long time. However, according to her father, the circumstances surrounding her death still don't add up. Like many others, Bobbi has repeatedly spoken about how Chrissy's ex, Nick Gordon, might have played a role not only in her passing, but also in Whitney's death.
I want the world to know that Bobbi Kristina did not die from the bathtub incident. That's not what killed Bobbi Kristina.
What killed Bobbi Kristina?
Bobbi Kristina was starved to death.
Do you approach that?
He knows what happened. I don't know what happened that night, but he does.
You walk through that door and you see her much like you saw Whitney.
It was literally, it was a nightmare all over.
But allegedly, there's much more to the story. Rumors suggest that Chrissy knew the truth about what happened to her mother, and some believe the eerie similarities between their deaths were no coincidence. They were planned. I've also heard plenty about how she witnessed many of her mother's arguments with people like Clive.
And then it's Grammy time, and her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobbi Kristina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead.
So, what exactly did Chrissy know about her mother's death? Could it have been connected to her own? Let's dive into it. For some background, Bobbi Kristina grew up in the public eye and made several appearances alongside Whitney. When she was just 8 months old, she was seen in an interview with Barbara Walters. And at 1 year old, she joined her mother on stage at the 1994 American Music Awards when Whitney accepted an award. When Whitney passed away, Chrissy was among those who suffered the most. She was even hospitalized after having a breakdown following the discovery of her mother's body in a Beverly Hills hotel room. However, she put on a brave face for the funeral and memorial services in the days that followed. Whitney's death pushed Chrissy further into the spotlight, and while her family tried to shield her, she eventually joined and later left a Tyler Perry series, made an appearance at the Billboard Music Awards, and even sat down for an interview with Oprah, among other public engagements. Sadly, Chrissy didn't live long enough to carry on her mother's legacy. On January 31st, 2015, she was found unresponsive in the Georgia home she shared with Nick Gordon, unconscious in a bathtub, eerily similar to the way her mother had died. She remained in hospice care until she passed away on July 26, 2015. The Fulton County medical examiner ruled her death as a result of drowning and intoxication. Toxicology reports found alcohol, a cocaine-related substance, sedatives, anti-anxiety medications, and morphine in her system. However, the medical examiner was unable to determine whether her death was intentional or accidental, simply stating that the cause was immersion associated with intoxication, leading to pneumonia and brain damage. Chrissy's death drew undeniable parallels to Whitney's, who was found unresponsive in a bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel on February 11, 2012, at the age of 48. Official reports concluded Whitney's passing was due to accidental drowning, with toxicology results revealing small amounts of cocaine in her system, along with traces of Xanax and other substances. While reports suggested she may have suffered a heart attack, possibly triggered by artery hardening, which caused her to lose consciousness and drown, the coroner found no definitive evidence of a cardiac event. Instead, the coroner noted Whitney had mild heart disease and some arterial blockage common among smokers, but not severe enough to cause a heart attack. Another suspicious detail? The coroner found there wasn't enough water in Whitney's lungs to confirm drowning as the cause of death, leading many to believe she was placed in the bathtub rather than losing consciousness while in it. And when it comes to the lingering questions surrounding Whitney's mysterious death, two names have always surfaced: Chrissy's ex, Nick Gordon, and Ray J.
Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the dealer in that gave her the shot. Leola Brown, Bobbi Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beat. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up.
The thing is, Ray J was the last person publicly linked to Whitney, though their relationship was never steady, and neither of them ever confirmed they were officially together. On the day Whitney passed away, Ray J claimed he wasn't at the party. However, multiple accounts have suggested otherwise. In fact, some people who were present stated that Brandy was asking about her brother at the event, raising the question, why would she be looking for him if he wasn't there? Suspicion around Ray J only grew when he, Raffles, and Brandy Burnside were seen hurrying out the back that same evening. What made this even stranger was that Raffles had never been fond of Ray J, so why was he seemingly helping him slip away unnoticed? Adding even more intrigue to the situation, Lola Brown, Whitney's ex-husband Bobbi Brown's sister, claimed shortly after Whitney's passing that Ray J had been supplying Whitney with whatever substances she was using and may have been responsible for giving her a bad batch.
I saw Ray J coming out of the hotel, hiding his head, being pushed into the car. Why? I looked and I said, why is he hiding? Why is he hiding his face? He's always trying to show his face when he's around Whitney. Why now? Why are you trying to hide now, Ray J? And I put it all together. When I first heard she passed away, I said, my God, somebody gave her a bad bag. Yes, I promise you, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. And then I saw Ray J, and it all added up.
It also doesn't help that just before Whitney passed away, she discreetly slipped a note to Ray J's sister, Brandy, during an interview featuring Brandy, Monica, and Clive Davis. To this day, Brandy has refused to reveal what was written in that note. In another interview, when asked about it, she simply said, "I'm going to just not say what it was and keep it to myself for my own personal reasons." Many believe Whitney intentionally gave Brandy the note in front of the cameras, just in case something happened to her. In fact, when she handed it over, she made sure to keep Monica and Clive distracted, giving Brandy enough time to read it. It just doesn't add up that Whitney, fully clothed but soaking wet, interrupted a recorded interview just to pass Brandy a note and kiss her at the end. And if you listen closely, you'll hear Whitney say, "I nearly drowned today." Additionally, people have pointed out that Brandy is always open about good things, but when something is bad, she stays silent, which could mean that the note contained something troubling. Her expression when Whitney handed it to her spoke volumes. Many have long suspected that Bobbi Kristina eventually discovered the truth about what happened to her mother. Reports have even suggested that she had proof. According to Jaguar, Chrissy was present during some of Whitney's heated arguments leading up to her tragic passing.
And then it's Grammy time.
That happened.
And her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobbi Kristina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead.
There have long been theories suggesting that Clive may have played a role in Whitney's death. And if Bobbi Kristina was present during some of their heated arguments, you can bet she overheard things she was never meant to know. It's also suspicious that Whitney just so happened to pass away during a party hosted by Clive. Something about it just doesn't add up. Likewise, the circumstances surrounding Chrissy's death and the eerie similarities to her mother's passing have never made sense. This is especially true when you consider her complicated and troubling relationship with Nick Gordon.
This is a young man who swears to God that he loves my niece. But yet you drag her up the steps, you pull her by her hair. You pull her by her hair and you punch her in the face and you knock 2 of her teeth out of her.
Apparently, Chrissy had been planning a trip to LA to celebrate her dad's birthday with family. It wasn't just a visit. She was also preparing for a permanent move to be closer to Bobbi and focus on her career. Reports suggest she was excited about continuing her mother's legacy and eager to rebuild her relationship with her father. However, Nick didn't want her getting close to anyone because he knew that once Chrissy left, it would be over for him. Allegedly, she had even planned to meet up with a friend that same day to reveal that Nick wasn't the man she once thought he was. According to those close to her, the day she planned to confront Nick about her decision, she was under the influence and upset when he returned home after being out. They argued, and Nick allegedly attacked her before leaving her alone in the room, which is why she was later found unresponsive. Not long after Chrissy was placed in hospice care, her court-appointed conservator filed a complaint against Nick Gordon, seeking justice on her behalf. He was accused of causing her serious bodily harm and stealing money while falsely claiming to be her husband. Later, an amended complaint was filed, alleging that Nick was responsible for Bobbi Kristina's wrongful death. The lawsuit claimed that after a heated argument, Nick gave her a toxic cocktail that left her unconscious before placing her face down in the bathtub. Bobbi Brown has openly stated that Nick Gordon was present during both Whitney's and Chrissy's deaths, and he strongly believes Nick may have been involved in both. However, Nick denied the allegations, even blaming Bobbi Brown for Chrissy's death instead. Unfortunately, Nick also passed away a few years later, leaving behind even more unanswered questions. So, to this day, no one can say for certain what truly led to Whitney and Chrissy's deaths, or if they were connected and orchestrated. Guys, I don't know if Nick was responsible for both deaths or if someone more powerful was pulling the strings, but one thing is clear. The circumstances surrounding Whitney's and Chrissy's deaths have never made sense. The eerie similarities are hard to ignore. What do you think? Do you believe Nick was involved, or was he just a pawn in a bigger scheme? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.